Welcome to today's Dhamma Talk, where we're diving into a topic that you won't want to miss. Don't miss the best. If someone asks you what the best thing in the world is, remember this. The true best is all about merit. Offering, giving, and sharing. These are the true acts of goodness. Taking care of one's body and being mindful in our speech is also part of the good life. And let's not forget the importance of nurturing our minds. Focusing our thoughts on a single object for an extended period is a practice that brings about true goodness. The wisdom that comes from truly understanding one's life is a profound good. Understanding the nature of life as impermanent is key to wisdom. When we recognize that seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching are all fleeting experiences, we gain valuable insight. Such wisdom understanding the nature of life is truly valuable. Among all these good qualities, insight stands out as the best of them all. The meaning of don't miss the best is about cultivating insight in our minds with the intention of not missing out on this valuable wisdom. That's what I'll be discussing today. In the Velarma Sutta, there was a time when the Buddha was staying at the Jetavana monastery. His lay disciple, the wealthy Anathapindika, visited him and paid his respects. It was during this visit that the Buddha initiated a conversation asking, "Do you often engage in acts of offering and create merit?" "I made an offering to the monks using low-quality rice and some fermented bean paste. I didn't feel happy about it at the time, especially because my business wasn't doing well. Small merchants had borrowed money from me but hadn't returned it. To make matters worse, I'd buried some gold near the river, only to lose it to the river's current. Due to all these factors, my business was struggling." In that situation, he felt he had no opportunity to offer high-quality alms to the monks. So, he spoke to the Buddha about his unhappiness with donating such low-quality food. The Buddha responded by emphasizing that to create great merit, the quality of the offering is less important than the donor's mindset. He then taught him how to make donations that lead to truly great results. For both you and me, who engage in acts of donation every day, this teaching resonates deeply. How can we make a valuable offering? It starts with offering from a place of great faith. This faith is rooted in the Buddha's all-knowing nature. Next, faith involves trusting that our offerings will yield great results. With this faith, we must engage in donating, offering, and sharing. Additionally, it's essential to offer to the recipient with respect, generosity, and high regard. These are the two main points the Buddha taught regarding offerings. If one fulfills these two aspects, the quality of the offering itself becomes less important. What truly matters is that the offering is valuable. Then the Buddha shared a story related to this teaching. Once upon a time, there was a wealthy Brahmin named Velarma. He was not only rich, but also incredibly generous, frequently donating to those around him. In fact, there were some who didn't even need to earn a living, as they relied on his donations. On occasion, Velarma would offer gold and jewelry presented on a silver tray, as the Buddha described. Are you wondering, who is Velarma? Who was I? This story isn't just hearsay, it shares his experiences from past lives. So, this teaching is incredibly profound. Even though I offered great gifts, I didn't find a worthy recipient. Isn't that amazing? Despite a lifetime of giving, he still didn't encounter a truly deserving recipient. Then the Buddha continued, analyzing the consequences of offerings. While the act of giving may be the same, the outcomes can differ greatly. So, how did the Buddha conduct this analysis? The Buddha explained that, despite Velarma Brahman's lifetime of generous giving, offering to someone who truly understands the Four Noble Truths is far greater, especially when that recipient is a noble or Ariyar person. It's a greater offering to give to one Sakadar Garmi, once returner, than to 100 Sotapanna, stream enterers. And it's even greater to offer to one anargarmi, non-returner, than to 100 sakadargarmi. Finally, offering to one arahant surpasses giving to 100 anargarmis. This shows that the greatness of an offering, and its resulting merit, depends on the recipient's level of holiness. A Sotarpanna's mind is purer than that of an ordinary person because they have eliminated wrong views. You and I, however, often remain clouded by these wrong views. We fail to fully understand cause and effect, and instead, we tend to blame people or circumstances, pointing to this person or that, rather than seeing the deeper connections between actions and their consequences. Actually, this body is subject to constant change, and the mind simply knows its objects. Both body and mind are part of nature, always changing. Yet we don't recognize them as such. These wrong views are what cloud our minds the most. However, a Sotarpanna is free from such wrong views, while our ordinary minds are still entangled in them. This is why the mind of a Sotarpanna and an ordinary mind are completely different. As one attains the stage of Sakadargarma, once returner, their mind becomes even purer. Upon reaching the level of Anargarmi, non-returner, the mind is purified further, with all desires related to sex and any trace of anger completely eliminated. Finally, when one becomes an arahant, their mind is 100% pure, free from all defilements. The Buddha continued, explaining that offering to one Pakcheka Buddha, who realizes the truths on their own without being taught by others, is greater than offering to 100 arahants. Even more significant is offering to a Sammarsam Buddha, the fully enlightened one, whose purity of mind is unmatched by anyone. Offering to the Buddha is the greatest of all, because his mind is the most perfectly pure. Offering to the Sangha, the community of the Buddha's disciples, holds even greater merit. Among all offerings, donating dwelling places is the most significant. If donors have such faith and offer a dwelling place to the Sangha, this type of offering is the most beneficial. Even greater than offering dwelling places is taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Taking refuge with personal conviction is the most important of all. It costs no money, yet brings immense merit. When we take refuge with the intention of being free from suffering and attaining true happiness, the merit generated is even higher than offering dwelling places to the Sangha. We must recognize the true value of taking refuge. It's our duty to understand who is the Buddha, what is the Dhamma, and what is the Sangha. To truly understand the value of taking refuge, we must practice the Dhamma. Knowing the Dhamma means understanding our own body and mind. First, we must understand that this life and this body are constantly changing, and with that change comes suffering. We need to recognize this suffering and see that ultimately it holds no real value. It's essential to realize the true nature of this impermanence. As we gain insight into the truth, the mind becomes increasingly peaceful, up to the level of realizing the Four Noble Truths. The deeper this peace, the greater the value of taking refuge, and the stronger our trust in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha becomes. An ordinary person's devotion tends to fluctuate because their mindset hasn't yet reached the next level. But once someone experiences true peace from taking refuge, they will naturally come to value it deeply. The Buddha continued, explaining that there is something even greater than taking refuge, observing the 5 precepts with personal determination. Even if it's justified, I will not kill any being, human or animal. Even if the circumstances call for it, I will never steal another's property. Even if there's a strong desire for it, I will refrain from improper sexual conduct. Even if I have a valid excuse, I will not use any intoxicants. Even if I have a good reason, I will not lie. The merit of taking refuge is far greater than offering even a huge monastery to the monks. True Buddhists understand this value and therefore take refuge and observe the 5 precepts daily. Why are the 5 precepts more valuable? In one scripture, the Buddha described the 5 precepts as a giant offering, greater than even offering a huge monastery to the Sangha. While giving material items is a normal offering, observing the 5 precepts is a profound and exceptional offering. Why? Because it's an offering of safety. How is this an offering of safety? Let's think practically. A person who commits to not killing anyone, including animals, is giving safety to all beings. No one needs to fear harm from them. This is the true offering of safety. If humanity could offer this kind of safety to one another, the world would be much more peaceful. Everyone fears being killed, and killing brings great harm to the world, because life is precious to all of us. That's why refraining from killing is far more valuable than a typical offering. Similarly, not stealing or damaging another's property is an offering of safety to others' belongings. Refraining from lying, drinking, or sexual misconduct also provides safety for both ourselves and others. This is why the Buddha taught that offering safety is the greatest offering.
If someone is asked to choose between safety or property, the wise will always choose safety. Only a foolish person would take property without safety. It's clear that safety is far more valuable than material possessions. That's why it's so reasonable when the Buddha said that offering safety is even more valuable than offering monasteries. This teaching comes from the Buddha, who embodies all-knowing wisdom. Therefore, we must grasp the true value of what we are observing. The Buddha continued his teaching, stating that there is something even more valuable than the 5 precepts: loving kindness. What is loving kindness? It's a mindset that wishes happiness for all beings. With the intention of avoiding suffering and violence, loving kindness promotes well-being. When we genuinely wish for all beings to be free from suffering, loving kindness arises in our minds. Cultivating loving kindness is essential, and everyone should strive to develop it. This practice is called sending loving kindness to all beings. The Buddha taught that sending loving kindness for even the duration of a single breath is more valuable than observing the 5 precepts. One breath may seem brief, but the merit gained from that moment of loving kindness is greater than any offering or even the 5 precepts. You might wonder, how can such a short moment of loving kindness be so valuable? True loving kindness must be boundless, without limits based on gender, nationality, or religion. But for most people, loving kindness is only directed toward those they care for, not toward those they dislike. That isn't real loving kindness. Genuine loving kindness knows no barriers, no division between those we love and those we find difficult to love. Can we really send loving kindness? When we try, we quickly realize how difficult it is to make it genuine. Once, the Buddha-to-be, the hermit Sumedha, reflected deeply on sending loving kindness. He thought, loving kindness should be like water, unbiased, equally clean and cool for the rich and poor alike. When someone drinks water, they feel equally satisfied, regardless of who they are. In the same way, loving kindness should be extended to all beings, whether they wish us well or not. He told himself, if I can give loving kindness equally to all beings, I will surely become a Buddha. True loving kindness, like water, is without discrimination. Is it easy to achieve? Not at all. It's difficult to send loving kindness to those we dislike, those who challenge us, or those with opposing views. Achieving this high standard takes time, effort, and practice. The key is to keep the mind peaceful. Most people find it hard to practice true loving kindness, but only when we cultivate genuine loving kindness can we achieve the merit the Buddha described, greater than any other. Then the Buddha continued, teaching that there is an even greater merit than true loving kindness. What is this merit? It is the perception of impermanence. Here, perception means the understanding of reality, and impermanence refers to change. Listen carefully. This is about the highest merit. This refers to the deep understanding that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent, constantly changing, decaying, and evolving. We must recognize that whatever arises is in a state of change, even as it exists. Life in general is a process of becoming. But what does becoming mean? It means that various forms of seeing are constantly becoming. Different forms of hearing are becoming. Smelling, tasting, and touching are entering through different doors. Our bodies, yours and mine, are like 6 doors: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Whenever these doors come into contact with objects, the experiences of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking arise naturally. These experiences are the root of our emotions, whether we feel happy, sad, or stressed. When we feel happiness, we crave more of it. When we experience suffering, we often react with anger. These constant reactions and feelings, flowing from the 6 doors, are what we call life. You see, life is always changing, and recognizing this change is what we call the perception of impermanence. Take seeing, for example. Each moment we look, we're seeing something new, even in the tiniest fraction of a second. Our sight constantly changes, morning, evening, night, moment by moment, every nanosecond. It's the same with hearing. Sounds arise, appear, and then vanish. The sound we heard this morning? It's gone and we can't retrieve it. It simply disappears. Life itself follows this rhythm, appearing and disappearing, good or bad. It rises and fades away. That's the nature of all things. So when you eat mindfully at home, notice the smell in your nose and the taste on your tongue. Each bite of food brings a different experience. The smell and taste of one bite aren't the same as the next. When you taste something sweet, you don't sense sourness. When you taste something sour, the sweetness is gone. The experience of tasting constantly changes, depending on the food. Just like with tasting, touching brings a variety of sensations: soft, rough, hot, cool. And in our thinking, countless thoughts arise, each unique. Everything is impermanent. It's all about becoming. The new replaces the old, and we need to understand this. Without mindfulness, we miss these ever-changing moments. Most people think everything is constant and fixed. They see their bodies as the same day after day. It's hard for us to recognize the freshness in each moment and see the newness that's always unfolding. The body and mind from before, and the body and mind to come, aren't the same. They're connected only by cause and effect. They're not totally identical. Think about it carefully. From the moment we were born, our bodies have been transforming. Just like a red rock gradually turning into something different, evolving into what we are today. We only notice these changes after years have passed. But what we often miss is that this transformation is happening instantly, even though time moves so quickly it's almost invisible. This is about the highest merit. We need to cultivate a mind that seeks to understand this merit, to truly receive it. The mind should be strong and willing, with a deep desire to know the reality of life as it truly is. Life holds nothing permanent. Everything that exists eventually disappears after it appears. That's just the nature of things. This process is constant, never stopping, and one day, life itself ends in this way. This is what we call impermanence. Understanding this truth is what we refer to as the perception of impermanence. The Buddha praises those who recognize and cultivate this perception, as it is the best form of merit. If you're wondering how to cultivate such merit, the answer lies in mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is simply observing whatever arises in the body and mind, without trying to force things to appear or disappear. Nature works on its own, with things arising and vanishing due to cause and effect. No one can control it without understanding that cause and effect. We must observe nature with awareness, just as if we were sitting beside it, watching without interference, simply seeing things as they truly are. Our observation must be continuous and consistent, moment by moment, as we stay present. Never letting our minds wander to the past or the future, only focusing on the present as much as we can. This practice is what we call mindfulness meditation. If you practice regularly, day by day, moment by moment, you'll begin to notice the true nature of your mind and body. As this awareness deepens, the sense of my body will fade away, and you'll come to understand that there's simply mind and body at work, nothing more. There's one important point in this practice: to have trust, to truly believe that this practice will surely bring merit. With such faith, we can sustain our practice continuously without becoming exhausted. The Buddha himself emphasized that perceiving the impermanent nature of all things is incredibly important. Did you know that the Buddha taught us that perceiving impermanence is the highest merit we can achieve? That's right. It's more beneficial than any offering, greater than loving kindness, and even surpasses the importance of morality. This practice, simply being aware of the impermanence of our mind and body at every moment, is truly the best way to live. We must truly appreciate this perception, even if it's challenging to recognize that it's the best. It can be difficult because it often goes against our natural tendency to seek stability and permanence in life. Many people like to believe that things stay the same, which makes it hard for them to accept that everything is always changing, because this truth goes against what they want. So, before you start practicing mindfulness meditation, set your expectations aside. Before you start practicing mindfulness meditation, set your worries aside. Impermanence is not about faith or belief. It's about perception that comes from careful observation.
Impermanence is real, no matter how you think or what you believe. The title, Don't Miss the Best, is talking about something really important: understanding that everything around us is always changing. The best thing here is the perception of impermanence, realizing that nothing stays the same forever. Think about it like this. When you look around, things are constantly changing. People grow older, seasons change, and even our feelings come and go. The Buddha taught that noticing and understanding this is one of the most important things we can do in life. So when the title says, Don't Miss the Best, it's reminding us to not ignore this truth, that everything is always changing. It's important to pay attention and realize this, as it helps us deal with life's ups and downs better.